Chris Smith thought he'd finally found peace. But in the Season 2 finale of Peacemaker, redemption turns into exile. In one of the darkest DCU endings yet, our so-called hero is banished to a prison planet called Salvation, and what waits for him there might reshape the entire DC universe. Welcome back to Review, where we dive deep into the worlds, characters, and hidden meanings behind your favorite cinematic universes. Today, we're breaking down Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 8, Full Nelson. The shocking finale that pushes Chris Smith beyond Earth, introduces Checkmate, and connects directly to James Gunn's upcoming DC projects like Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow. So if you love exploring the details behind the chaos, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you don't miss the next breakdown. Alright, let's dig in. The end of Redemption, Peacemaker's breaking point. The episode begins right where we left off. After a season of dimension hopping, trauma, and guilt, Chris Smith has spent the entire season confronting the ghosts of his past. His father, Augie Smith, his brother, Keith, and the deep moral rot that's followed him since the Suicide Squad. Cut to flashback montage. Chris arguing with his father, his brother's death scene, emotional fragments from earlier episodes. But in Full Nelson, we see something new, clarity. With the support of Adebayo, Harcourt, Sasha Bordeaux, and Vigilante, Chris finally starts believing he's more than his mistakes. The 11th Street Kids come together for one last mission, breaking free from Amanda Waller's manipulation and creating something on their own. Their vision? A new independent unit called Checkmate. It's a symbolic moment, a team reborn, standing for truth instead of control. But as we'll see, that victory doesn't last long. Because while Chris finds peace within himself, the world around him is quietly preparing his downfall. Argus, Lex Luthor, and the Secret of Salvation. While the team is rebuilding, Sasha and Harcourt make a disturbing discovery. Argus, the same agency that trained and betrayed them, has been developing portal technology capable of accessing alternate Earths. But this isn't about exploration. It's about containment. Argus has been using these portals to construct a secret off-world prison designed to hold metahumans permanently. The destination? A barren planet known as Salvation. And behind this operation are two key figures, Rick Flag Sr. and Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult. Luthor's motives are clear. He's building a political crusade against metahumans, setting the stage for Man of Tomorrow. Flag Sr., on the other hand, has a personal vendetta. He blames Peacemaker for the death of his son, Rick Flag Jr., back in the Suicide Squad. So when Argus tracks Chris using a chip signal, Flag Sr. seizes his chance for revenge. Cut to Portal Lab scene, harsh lighting, scientists preparing the transfer. Under the pretense of a reconnaissance mission, they trick Chris into stepping into the portal. The moment he does, Flag Sr. spits out one final insult. "This is for Ricky, you piece of S***." And with that, the portal slams shut, leaving Peacemaker stranded in a lifeless alien wasteland. It's not just a betrayal. It's exile, and it signals the DCU's shift toward a darker, more authoritarian age. Salvation, DC's most terrifying prison planet. Now let's talk about Salvation, the mysterious world that could redefine the future of the DC universe. For longtime DC readers, Salvation comes straight from the 2007 comic miniseries Salvation Run, written by Bill Willingham and Lila Sturges. In that story, Amanda Waller and the US government use boom tubes to exile dangerous villains to a desolate planet called Salvation, a place with no escape, no civilization, and no mercy. The twist? The planet isn't empty. It's secretly run by Desaad and the new gods of Apocalypse, turning it into a cosmic death trap where only the strongest survive. Cut to visuals of comic panels, Joker, Lex Luthor, and Catwoman fighting for survival. James Gunn's version takes inspiration from that concept but reimagines it for the modern DCU. Here, Salvation isn't just a villain prison. It's a metahuman exile zone, a place where beings who are too powerful for Earth get erased from existence. That eerie growl Chris hears in the finale's last moments is not just ambience. It hints that Salvation may already be inhabited, possibly by beings tied to Apocalypse. So while the finale ends with Chris alone, there's every reason to believe he's not the only prisoner out there. Checkmate, the rise of a new power. Let's rewind for a moment to the other side of the story, the creation of Checkmate. In the comics, Checkmate was introduced in Action Comics number 598, 1988, as a covert espionage agency handling metahuman threats, often working alongside or against Amanda Waller. Think of it as a cross between the CIA and the Justice League's shadow. Over the years, figures like Maxwell Lord, Sacha Bordeaux, and even Batman had ties to it. One of the most famous Checkmate arcs was the OMAC project, where Lord hijacked the agency and triggered a war against metahumans, ending with Wonder Woman killing him. Cut to panels or concept art from the OMAC project. In Gunn's series, however, Checkmate isn't born from corruption. It's born from rebellion. After years of manipulation by Argus and Waller, Adebayo leads the team to form their own independent unit. Members include Harcourt, Sacha Bordeaux, Fleury, and even Judo Master. This move doesn't just expand Peacemaker's world, it establishes a critical new faction in the DCU. Checkmate could become the moral compass, the underground agency that operates outside government control, and the thread connecting Peacemaker, Supergirl, and Creature Commandos. But for Chris Smith, that dream ends before it begins. His exile turns Checkmate's birth into tragedy. Their leader is gone, and their mission is already haunted by betrayal. The DCU connections and Easter eggs you missed. James Gunn's attention to detail in Full Nelson is classic Gunn, loaded with nods to DC lore and subtle hints toward the future of the universe. Let's break down a few key Easter eggs. Big Belly Burger. The iconic fast food chain appears again, connecting this show to Superman and even the Arrowverse. Leota's confrontation with Waller. A callback to Season 1's finale, reminding viewers that Adebayo exposed Waller's crimes live on television. Luthor Corp employees. Several characters like Otis Berg and Amanda McCoy appear, all existing figures from DC Comics who've crossed paths with Lex Luthor. Multiversal doors. Argus's experiments show glimpses of alternate worlds, from Candyland-style realms filled with imps to horrifying black holes and even zombie dimensions. Planet Salvation. Officially approved by General Stephen Morey from Superman, confirming the shared continuity. And of course, one of the most emotional moments, Peacemaker and Harcourt's kiss, is a small, human pause before the chaos, a moment of warmth before everything collapses. Finally, the episode closes with a chilling mirror to Season 1, the signature slow-motion walk, now set to Foxy Shazam's "Oh Lord," signaling the end of one chapter and the beginning of something much bigger. What comes next? Peacemaker's role in the new DCU. James Gunn has already confirmed that Peacemaker Season 2 leads directly into Man of Tomorrow and Supergirl. That means the fallout from Salvation and Checkmate will ripple across the next wave of DC stories. Lex Luthor's anti-metahuman campaign is only beginning, and Rick Flag Sr.'s partnership with him could create one of the most oppressive eras in DC history. But let's not forget, Gunn's storytelling always centers on transformation. Chris Smith's exile isn't an ending. It's a reset. He's been stripped of everything, his team, his world, even his purpose. The same man who once killed for peace now faces a literal void where peace doesn't exist. So the big question isn't will he survive Salvation? It's what kind of man will he become when he returns? Because if Salvation is tied to Apocalypse, if Desaad or the Parademons are lurking there, Peacemaker's redemption arc could expand into a full-blown cosmic war. A battle not just for Earth, but for the very soul of the DCU. When Peacemaker first debuted, no one expected this kind of depth. A loud, violent antihero slowly learning to care. But by the end of Season 2, that story of redemption turns into something even darker and more ambitious. Show slow pan of Chris standing alone on Salvation's surface, faint growls in the background. He's no longer fighting villains, he's fighting fate itself. And with Checkmate, Lex Luthor, and Salvation now in play, James Gunn has turned one man's punishment into a pivotal piece of DC's next chapter. The chessboard is set, and Peacemaker is the first piece to fall. But what do you think? Will Chris Smith rise again from the edge of the universe? Or has he finally paid the price for peace? Comment your thoughts below, I want to hear your theories. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to catch the next DC breakdown here on Review.